Hello everyone, I hope you're all well and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know who I am, which will be majority of you, my name's Layla. I have my own nail/beauty business. YouTube is something that always comes and goes in my brain because sometimes life gets in the way and I can't always just whip my camera out and, you know, film a YouTube video, but it's something I really want to focus on. As I say, I am still on my, every day's a journey, isn't it? But I want to be able to have this platform to talk about business and what it's like actually having your own business and hopefully helping, even if it's helping one person, that'll make me happy because, yeah, when I first started my business, like, you really are starting from scratch, and obviously you've got people around you to help you, and that's great, and online resources are so amazing now. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, now more than ever, I think TikTok specifically is literally like a search engine now. Like, if people want to know something, they'll literally go to TikTok and instead of maybe going to Google or whatever. Really want to focus this channel on everything business. I do, well, not everything business, but I do also want to do like little lifestyle stuff. I love watching lifestyle stuff. I'm just nosy and I just like the old style YouTube, like get ready with me's and come for a day with me. I love those kind of videos. I still want to incorporate my life a little bit into the YouTube, but I definitely want to go more into a bit of a different side of YouTube and actually be useful for others. And I want people to watch my videos and be like, yes, that's gonna help me, because when I started, that's definitely what I did. But I don't know, I feel like there's still a little bit missing on the actual reality of having your own business. Of course, there's other videos out there and stuff really does tell you the reality of having your own business, but sometimes just going through someone's journey, because I am a year and 4 months. Yeah, I've had my nail salon, beauty salon, for a year and 4 months, so I've definitely learned a lot. I've still got so much to learn. But yeah, so I thought, while also teaching people what I've learned, why not go through my journey with me, you know? That sort of combo. I hope you understand what I'm all trying to say. But yeah, let's get straight on with the video. So today's video is quite a good start for the new way I want my YouTube to be. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's the start of, well, essentially owning your own business. And I feel like if I was going to start a business, I do have my own business. When I had my own business, I think this was literally one of the first things I actually looked at, which is 10 things I wish I knew before starting my own business. Having your own business is a completely different ball game to actually being employed by someone else. When you are employed by someone else, your employee, is that right? Employee, employer? Can't remember. They kind of take care of the stuff that when you do have your own business, you then have to take care of. So it is a completely different way of living as well, I think. Just a little bit before we get into it. I left uni in 2021. I actually went to drama school. If you go back on my old videos, I do go into that. But yeah, I went to drama school. I went to London, started that in 2018. I did musical theatre. So that's like dance, acting, singing. I still do love those things, but for me, if I do it, I do it, but I just wanted a bit of stability in my life. Now, I am not saying the self-employed life is stable, but it can be stable and you can make it stable. But yeah, it's definitely not the most stable way to go. Obviously, I'm saying I want stability, but it doesn't start off the most stable. However, I just wanted a bit more structure. Again, being self-employed, not the most structured thing in the world. You kind of have to make it structured. Also, just a side note, I did my nail qualifications and brow qualifications, lashes, all that in 2016. So I did it quite a while ago now, which is, how many years ago is that? 7 years ago? That is crazy. I used to work for my mum, kind of just a Saturday girl doing nails. Then I went to uni and didn't really do it. So fast forward to 2021. This really isn't the video that it should be, but I just think it needs a bit of a backstory. Fast forward to 2021, leaving uni, coming home. I kind of was just working a bog standard job and I was just like, what am I doing? You know, what am I doing? I've come from such a, in my head, knowing what I want to do, to kind of that changing a little bit, which is completely fine. Don't let anyone ever tell you, if you go do a degree and you don't want to use it, don't use it. It's your life. Don't let anyone else live your life because you've got to do it. You've got to go live your life, not someone else. I was doing admin, and I mean, if you love admin, you go do admin. Admin, I am not the girl for admin. I got way too bored, and I was just like, I want to go do more with my life. Again, no hate to the admin. If that's your passion, brilliant, but it just wasn't mine. I literally quit my job on whatever Sunday it was. I think it was in December, it was the end of November of 2021. And so it was only a couple months really that I was like, why am I doing this? Didn't take me long to realise I didn't want to just do like normal things. I can never do anything normal. Then obviously had to go through the decision of being employed by someone else. Am I going to go self-employed, where I'm going to be, blah, blah, blah. I'll do a completely different video on how I actually set up all that. Fast forward to now, as I say, I'm a year and 4 months to having my own business. So I work for me and only me. No one works for me. It's just me. I mean, my family and friends and boyfriend may as well work for me because they are so helpful. God, that took me a while. I think I should do like a whole other video on actually starting up. But this, I think, is a perfect video for anyone who wants to start their own business. Obviously, as I say, I'm in the nail industry, beauty industry. You kind of have to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Obviously, you have to apply this to whatever business you want to do. If you want to be a nail tech or want to go into the beauty industry, this video is literally perfect for you because that is exactly what I do. But as I say, you could apply this to any business you're doing. You just need to change it to fit to what you do. Now let's actually get on with what this video is meant to be. Honestly, I waffle so much. Okay, so I'm actually gonna have got them up on a list on my phone because I won't remember every single thing. These are the things that I personally wish I knew, which I did to an extent, but like I wish I really understood that, you know? Number one is you want to make your brand, your business, whatever it is, fit you. What I mean by that is obviously everyone is different in what they like, the tastes, in what they like. For an example, when someone buys a house, not everyone is gonna design it and do all the interior the exact same. Not just talking about the interior, but you want your brand to fit you. If you are, you know, super sassy and have quirky style and all this or whatever it is, you want to make that brand fit you. If you're like super out there, love bright colours, all this stuff, and then your branding's like really neutral, really plain, really basic, if you've got actual premises or whatever it is, it doesn't fit who you are, it's just not going to work. You're going to get bored of whatever it is and you want to be excited. So whatever your brand is, I'll actually use me as my own example now. So obviously I have a little cabin and I love the little cabin-y cozy vibe. Whereas if you don't like cozy vibes, for example, going the cozy way might not be for you. You might want to be more aesthetic, if that makes sense. Obviously everyone, you kind of want to be aesthetic, but you might want to be a bit more, not like, I don't mean this, but I hope someone understands what I mean. You know, like in a hospital, it's not cozy. I'm not saying whatever business you're going to do, you want to make it like a hospital vibe, but you know, you might want it more clean vibe. You might want it more nature vibes. You might, you know, whatever it is. That was a really weird explanation. This kind of also links, but whatever your brand is, for me, obviously it's nails, but you want people to know who you are, what you're about, what you're like. If you're trying to sell a product and people don't really know what you're like, if they like you, they're probably not going to want to, if it's nails specifically, they might not want to sit with you for an hour because, say for example, if you're super quiet, you kind of want to go to get your nails done, you don't want to talk really, you want to find a nail tech who is that kind of person. If you love going to have a gab, a chit chat, then find a nail tech who is like that. From my Instagram, you can see I make funny videos as well, kind of taking the mick or whatever. You can see I'm chatty, bubbly. That's the clientele you want to attract. You want to put that across, if that makes sense. If you went on my Instagram and I was just, you know, you could tell I was really quiet, I would attract a completely different kind of clientele. So you need to think what brand would fit you. You want to get your face out there. Not out there, but in the sense of you want to show your personality. Because I know I just do nails, but I feel like sometimes people do just come for a good gab. That's the kind of nail tech I am. Definitely a chatty one. My God, I am a chatty one. Just to pre-warn you. If that's not what you want, I'm not the girl for you. I've kind of just done a rebranding of like my logos and stuff. I just felt like when I initially did it, I kind of just did it there and then. And it wasn't exactly how I liked it, but I kind of needed it to be done. So I just kind of did it and like that was it, put it out there, which obviously is great to try and get out there as fast as you can, but sometimes actually focus on what you want as a brand, what you want to put across as a brand. Definitely something to think about. I've been talking for 5 minutes on one point. I can't do this. I've got 10 points. Oh my god. Also just done the inside of my salon up. I think I definitely want to do a bit of a salon tour because it's completely changed now. But just an example, before it was all like green and turquoisey, which I do actually love, but it just made the salon a bit dull, I think, and with it being cozy and wooden anyway, it was kind of on the, not the duller side, but it was on the dark side anyway, so I just wanted to brighten it up inside. I still wanted it to be super cozy and relaxing, and I wanted people to enjoy coming and thinking, oh, I can just chill for an hour. Even just changing the colours completely changed what it's like inside. I love it so much more, being able to actually kind of go for more of what I want and what I want to put out there. And as well, like, your ideas are going to mature, you're going to change in what you like, what you don't like. So obviously the brand kind of moves with you, which is exactly what you want. You don't just think, right, well, that's how I've done it and that's how I'm going to have to stay. Obviously the brand can move with you because we're always changing, people, and the journey is such an important part to a business. If I look at myself a year and 4 months ago, like, it's crazy. That's point number 1. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, but yeah. Okay, point number 2. This is going to be a quick one. This is a straight to the point kind of one. When you start your business, you're going to need some form of money. I'm not saying you're going to need millions and thousands, but you definitely need money to be able to start your business. If I didn't have some money behind me when I started my nail business, and I'll go into a completely different video about this, but I was very lucky and had a lot of stuff to be able to start my own business and my salon. I still needed to buy a lot of stuff. You have to invest in good products, insurance, your qualifications. Like I say, I was lucky because I had my qualifications. My startup cost was a lot less than what it should have been. I still had a startup cost. Whether that's for someone it's a couple hundred, whether it's a couple thousand, you need to be realistic in how much you need to actually start your business. If you think, I want to go be a nail tech, but you have like £4 to your name, which absolutely no problem, realistically you're not going to be able to start up, and that is the honest truth, okay? That is the honest truth. You do need a little bit of money in whatever it is you want to do. If you really want to do it, definitely try and save up a little bit of money, or actually write out how much you need to be able to start your business. And as well, always have a little bit to fall back on. If you're going to go into something full-time, part-time, for me, I literally went straight full-time, which is kind of crazy. But in that first month, I made nothing compared to what I make now. But I had a bit of money behind me to be able to actually survive. As well, I live at home still. I go in between my house and my boyfriend's house. I'm lucky in the sense of I don't have absolutely loads of outgoings. I obviously still have outgoings, but I don't have a mortgage to pay, kids to feed. It's all relative to the person that's starting the business. You are going to have some money, just to let you know. Number 3, now this is a bit of a blasé one. It is just so true. Just don't care about what other people think. If there is one thing that my family have taught me, do you know, it took me a while, even though they taught me it well, is just don't care what people think. It's so hard to not care. I mean, I came from performing as my background. All you care about is what the audience thinks, the audition panel, all you think about is pleasing them, which, you know, has effects on the brain. No tea, no shade. If you, in your head, are like, oh, I'm scared what this person's going to think, I'm scared what people who I went to school are going to think. I don't speak to anyone from school, really. Obviously, if I bump into them, I'll have a chat with them. To me, when I started a business, that never came into my mind because, one, I just don't actually care. When you start your business, especially doing nails, you really do get better the more time and practice you put into your nails. And if your nail sets aren't the best to begin with, who cares? That is most nail techs. If anything, you want to look and see how much someone's progressed because it shows they put the time and the effort in. So I know it's so much easier said than done. Obviously, it's great to have opinions and stuff when it comes to it. Don't care what other people think. If you want to do something, you go do it. If it's caring what people think that's stopping you, that is a silly reason to not start your business. I look so pale. Hoping that's the light, to be honest with you. Point number 4. This kind of actually links into point number 3. However, this is a separate, specific to my niche. Obviously, being a nail tech, there's loads of nail techs where I live. My cousin is literally a very successful nail tech, I'd just like to say. But just because there's other nail techs in your area or whatever it is, you know, apply it to your business. You can't just think, oh my god, well, there's a nail tech salon right there. I can't now go be a nail tech because they're just going to go to that person. My business page, like my Instagram, all I follow is nail techs. For inspiration, you know, it's nice to be inspired by someone and think, oh god, that's where I want to be. You don't think, oh, my work's really shit and then not do it because theirs is better. Well, push yourself to get yourself better and be a better nail tech. And, you know, you'll get there, but don't just copy a nail tech. Don't copy a nail tech. Please, for the love of God, whatever business you have, make it your own. Obviously, being a nail tech, we all do nails. Like that is literally copy and paste. We all have to sit and do nails. But then the way we do it, all that, blah, 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 the branding, you know, make it your own. That's a whole point in itself. But yeah, don't be thinking about other nail techs and comparing yourself in a negative way. It's kind of okay if you're comparing it and you're in the positive mindset of being like, you know, I want to better myself, this is that, like I was saying before. But if you're sat there comparing yourself and being like, I'm never going to be that good, you need to completely change that mentality. Otherwise, it's not going to get you very far for very long, because it will get you down. It really will. So you need to kind of, however, you need to learn to move on from that way of thinking, to be able to flourish your business, flourish your business. Do you know, I've actually missed doing this so much. Mum and Dad are on holiday as well, so I can be as loud as I want. Not that I can't when they're here, but it's just so much easier to talk to a camera when no one's here. Okay, so the next one is understanding the power of social media. Now, in this day and age, I'm sorry to break it to people who don't want to hear it, social media is going to be your best friend. It really is, especially in what I do. Social media is literally what gets me my clients. Obviously, word of mouth, if you do leaflet drops, you know, that is going to be a big part as well. Word of mouth is so, so important in the industry. But social media nowadays, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, still Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, nails, like you can be so creative, so you can make content. Obviously, you have your clients who make the money, but creating content with nails is so powerful, and that can then lead you to get other clients. If they see your work, even if it's just on yourself and they see a set they love, that might push them to be like, I want to book in with you because I like the way you do this, I like the way you do that. So the power of social media, everyone, is so important. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm so good on social media, I'm so consistent, and then sometimes for a week I become a bit like brain fart and I don't know what to post, it gets a bit repetitive. The thing is you want to be able to follow the trends, but you also want to be yourself, not just copy every single trend you see. Social media is going to get you far. So make sure you understand the platforms, because they're all different. I mean, the algorithms are always changing, it's a nightmare to be honest, but you know, we're always learning. As I say, we're always on a journey. If I had no social media for my business, God, I'd have about 2 clients, to be honest. No, but I'd have more than that. But you know what I mean. Point number 6. Now, this is a big one. You really have to be self-motivated to be self-employed. Obviously, having your own business, you're self-employed. If you're going to have your own business and you are self-employed, boy, you've got to get yourself out of bed in the morning. For me, I literally set my schedule. If I want to go to the gym at 10 AM, I can. You can make your own schedule. It's very freeing. However, you have to be strict to a point, and don't get me wrong, some days I get up and I'm like, no, not today. Having your own business, no one else is telling you to get out of bed. You have to tell yourself to get out of bed. And some days when you can't bother to go to work, when you work for someone else, you don't have a choice, because 1, you wouldn't get paid, and 2, you could be fired. 3, someone else is telling you to get up, so you have to physically do it. You have no choice if you work for someone else. Whereas having your own business and working for yourself, because you have the choice, sometimes it's really easy to slip up and be like, not going to do that today, and then you might not do it the next day, and you can kind of get in a spiral. So my tip for that is making to-do lists. You really have to be self-motivated. If you know you need someone else to tell you what to do, to tell you how to do it, and to literally get you out of bed, then being self-employed probably isn't for you, and that's the honest truth. You can definitely learn, and as time goes on, I think you get more self-motivated because you see more success in your business, which then makes you want to push for more. So kind of the more successful you get, the more motivated you are, obviously. So sometimes it is really hard to motivate yourself in the start. Being motivated is really, really, really important, and you really have to understand that. Like, don't just be like, oh yeah, Layla said, like, oh, let's be self-motivated. Like, seriously, if you know you aren't that kind of person, you really need to think about how you're going to get motivated. Point number 7. Again, I think this is kind of a bit of a no-brainer, but staying on top of finances is so important. When you first start your business, I was just, you know, making whatever money and not kind of doing anything with it, just spending it or taking it out there and then, which is kind of not the way to go. Like, the way I'm doing it now is actually making money that month, and this will happen as time goes on, as your business grows, making the money and literally giving myself a wage for the next month. The money I make in January, that will cover my wage for February. That took me a while to be able to do that, because obviously you have to make more money than what you need for that month. For example, when I first started, I didn't make enough to be able to survive off that money and then make enough for the next month. So obviously it takes time to be able to do that, but definitely set yourself, you know, goals and targets for your money. The first thing I always do, which you should do anyway, even if you're employed by someone else or whatever it is you do, is I put the money aside for my bills for the next month. So say, let's just use this as an example. Say my bills are £500 a month and I have no choice. I have to pay them before I can even have money to go to a restaurant or buy myself a pair of shoes. That first chunk of money literally goes in my bills pot, like no matter what, and then whatever I make after that is like a wage. Obviously my bills are still a wage because I get paid that. However, it's like the next part 2 of the wage, if that makes sense. But yeah, you need to be financially aware of what's going on. You need to consider the fact that you're gonna get taxed, national insurance, and because we're self-employed, we don't get taxed for the whole year, and then bang, we have to pay the tax all in one. If your business makes loads and loads of money and then you kind of spend all of it, and then you have a massive tax bill but can't afford to pay it, more for yourself, you know? Have people around you to help you. If you don't, go take a financial class, YouTube, TikTok. Okay, so this one's a bit of a sad one. I'm not gonna lie, and this one is, obviously, if you have a business and you have people who work for you, it might be different. Well, it will be different. But as I said at the start, I work for myself only. No one else works for me. Obviously, when I have clients in, I see people all day, every day, and talk to people all day, every day. However, it can be really lonely. Like, do you know, I think this is the one thing that I didn't think of. No one really told me, in the sense of, like, you know, when I was like looking it up, how to start my own business, or like this didn't really come up, and I don't think it's spoken about enough. But it can be really fucking lonely. And like I say, that is because I do work for myself. If you worked in a salon, even if you were self-employed and worked in a salon, you have those other people who work there. Whereas because it's just me, once that client goes, like, I just sit and talk to myself, you know, until the next client comes in, or, you know, ring a friend or whatever. Just make sure you're aware it can be very lonely. And then obviously the days I don't have clients, obviously I see my family, I see my boyfriend, I see my friends, and I am a social person-ish, I like to think. When you're there by yourself, you know, making your content or doing this and doing that, and you're literally alone, like, you just don't realise until you're just doing it day in, day out. Whereas when you go to work and are employed by someone else, and say, I used to work in a pub, and you'd go in and then you'd see your work friends, you'd see people literally all day. They might not be your best friends, I'm not saying that. However, you were with people a lot. Well, I was with people a lot more. It took me a good few months to be like, oh, I'm actually a bit lonely. And then some of my friends are still at uni or on gap years, or everyone's everywhere. Like, when you grow up, that's another story. 10 things I wish I knew before I grew up. That is going to be my next one. But yeah, so not all my friends were at home. Me and a couple others were like one of the first lot to go to uni. Didn't have a gap year, went straight from college to uni. Then a few of our friends are younger, so, you know, people are at different stages. So when I came back, everyone else had gone. So I was even more lonely then, because my friends weren't actually here. And then because I went to uni in London, a lot of my friends are all over the country, which is just annoying. If you are lonely, make sure you try to do things to not make you feel like that, whether it's go to the gym and go see people, or go see your friends, or, you know, whatever it is, to make sure you're not completely like going crazy on your own. Just a little pre-warning, obviously it's different for every business, but because I am my business and that is it, just make sure you're looking after yourself. And because at the end of the day, if you're not okay and it's just you, you have to keep pushing your business to be the best thing you want it to be. If you're working with someone else and you're kind of having an off day, down day, they can kind of uplift that. Whereas if it's just you, you know, it can be hard to actually push through. That kind of links into the self-motivated fact point. I had to learn how to not make myself feel as lonely and still be able to enjoy the times when I was alone and enjoy that. And definitely having my own business has taught me how to enjoy my own company. I am a people person though, so that doesn't help. Number 9 is an important one, and this one is don't overwork yourself. Being self-employed, I don't know if I'm selling it being self-employed. It is amazing, but it has its pros and cons. Take me, for example. Some days I'll sit and I'll do nothing. There's no in between. I'll either do nothing or absolutely everything. I've been in the salon till literally midnight before, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I've done stupidly long days, literally from like 9 AM till like at midnight, which is just not sustainable. But when you work for yourself, especially in the beginning, and if it is like a clientele kind of business, you'll take anything. Then you can afford to be more fussy with your clients. And if someone is like, I want this time, but you don't really want to give them that time, but you just kind of do because you're kind of at the start of your business. So you'll do anything, obviously, because you need to make the money, you want to be successful. You have to be strict with yourself. However, I then learned I was kind of spreading myself so thin. I'd have a couple clients on this day, a couple clients on that, whereas I much prefer having like 8 clients on one day compared to like a couple here, a couple there, which I don't mind sometimes. I'd say about around month 8, I was like, no, I need to set actual working days. And this goes back to self-motivation, being strict with yourself and not overworking yourself. It all links together. No matter how much you think you can work, you still need to be able to have time for yourself. Know when to work and when not to work. Everyone says it. If you're self-employed, you work 24/7, and it is kind of true because you do really need that balance. So you've got to be strict with yourself in motivation to do stuff, but strict with yourself to learn when to not be like that. This one's kind of light-hearted, you know, to end the video on. You do have to enjoy what you do. If you want to make a business out of something and you hate it, it is going to fail. Now, I know that is a big statement. You're not going to motivate yourself to want to do well because you don't enjoy what you're doing. I do nails, I do enjoy sitting there. Sometimes I do feel like I'm not working, I'm just sitting there chatting to someone putting the nails. It's not just that easy, I'd like to say. I don't think you realise until you try someone else's craft how hard it can actually be. But yeah, you do have to enjoy your craft because, as I say, it links into everything else. If you're not even interested in what you're trying to sell, how are you going to be able to sell it to someone else if you can't sell it to yourself? I'm sorry, that was such a good point. And I know I don't always have my nails done, and people who are nail techs and hairdressers and stuff like that, usually the hairdressers will have their hair scraped in a bun and it's greasy while they're making everyone else's hair look amazing. Usually both my hands aren't painted because I'm obviously dominant with one hand. I can do the other one, it just takes me way too long. I'm using my hands a lot, making other people's hands look pretty. My hands get battered in the process sometimes. But if I'm like going on a night out, for example, if I'm going somewhere, I always do try and make sure my nails or my brows or whatever it is, I want to make sure that looks good because I want to be able to sell what I do. Whereas if I don't have nails on, sometimes I don't have nails on and you might have no idea that I do nails, but I do try and make sure what my services are, that I'm actually interested in myself. Before I had my nail business, I used to get my nails done. So, you know, I didn't just not have my nails done and then start a nail business. I actually got my own nails done because I like to get my own nails done. So that's what I kind of mean when I'm saying you want that interest in your business. Hope that makes sense. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I feel like it's going to be a long one. I feel like it's a really important video. If you want to start your own business, watch this video. If you made it to the end, hats off to you because I know it's going to be long. But I really do hope that I've helped some people because I feel like I would have loved literally this kind of video for my niche would have been amazing. And someone being honest and being real about what it's actually like having their own business, because it's not all sunshine, rainbows and butterflies, but at the same time it can really be amazing. It can be so freeing. You can live a different life, you can live a life that you want to live. Personally, I love being self-employed. Self-employed as well is literally in my blood. Like, a lot of people in my family have been self-employed, are self-employed. We're just all little entrepreneurs in my family. But yeah, that's another thing. I feel like sometimes it does kind of run in the family. When you watch someone who is so successful, you kind of want to be like that and make it your own. If you like this kind of video, please, you know, give it a like, give it a comment, you know, share the video. If you know someone who's trying to start their own business, send it to them because it will be helpful, hopefully, even though I did waffle on. I do really want to try to help people because, I mean, I'm young, I'm 22, I've got so far to go and I really want my journey. I want to be able to look back and see my journey and be like, wow. I might look back on this video in 10 years and be like, no, that's not true, or stuff is always changing. That's just what I've learned in my, well, nearly year and a half of having my own business, which, as I say, it's not like 25 years of having your own business, but it is, you know, long enough to kind of know what's going on. Subscribe to my channel. There's going to be so much more good content to come. Like I say, it's going to be a bit of a mixture between business and lifestyle because I love watching the lifestyle side of YouTube. I actually want to be, you know, useful to people as well. Hopefully you enjoyed and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!